The phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the hardwood floor with a sound like a gunshot in the quiet kitchen. Her words echoed in my skull, each syllable a shard of glass. I'm moving in with Derek. It's just easier this way. Easier. The word tasted like bile, sour and burning in my throat. I stood frozen, staring at the cracked screen of my phone, the glow of her text message searing into my retinas. Outside, the wind howled, rattling the windows of the house we'd built together. Our sanctuary, our promise. Now it felt like a mausoleum. I sank into a chair, the wood creaking under my weight, and pressed my palms against my eyes until colors burst behind my lids. My heart pounded, a frantic drumbeat urging me to act, to scream, to do something. But all I could do was replay the last 2 years. Every late-night conversation, every shared laugh, every touch that felt like it meant forever. How had I missed it? The signs were there, weren't they? The way Sarah's smile faltered when she mentioned Derek's name, the way her phone buzzed at odd hours, her excuses piling up like leaves in autumn. I'd chalked it up to stress, to her new job, to anything but the truth. The kitchen smelled of coffee and the faint lavender of her perfume, lingering like a ghost. I grabbed the mug she'd left on the counter, her favorite, the one with the chipped handle, and hurled it against the wall. It shattered, ceramic fragments scattering like my thoughts. My chest ached, not just with betrayal but with the weight of my own denial. I'd seen her pull away, hadn't I? The way she'd linger at the door, her eyes distant, or how she'd flinch when I reached for her hand. I told myself it was nothing, that love could weather anything. What a fool. I stood, pacing the room, my bare feet cold against the floorboards. The house was too quiet without her. No hum of her singing off-key, no clatter of her keys as she rushed out the door. Just the wind outside, relentless, and the ticking of the clock on the wall. A reminder that time was slipping away, just like she had. I grabbed my phone, ignoring the cracked screen, and scrolled through our messages. Her last one stared back at me. We need to talk when I get home. I'm sorry, James. Sorry. The word was a knife, twisting deeper with every heartbeat. I didn't wait for her to come home. I couldn't. The thought of seeing her, of hearing her try to explain why she was choosing him, Derek, her ex, the man she swore she'd left behind, made my stomach churn. I called my realtor, Mark, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Sell the house, I said. Today. I don't care about the price. He hesitated, his voice crackling through the line, asking if I was sure. I wasn't, but I couldn't stay in this place, surrounded by memories that now felt like lies. Every wall, every corner held her, us, and I needed it gone. The rest of the morning blurred into a haze of paperwork and rage. Mark arrived with forms, his brow furrowed with concern, but I waved it off. I signed where he pointed, my signature jagged and unfamiliar, like it belonged to someone else. The house, our home, was on the market by noon. A young couple, eager and unaware of the ghosts they'd inherit, made an offer within hours. Cash deal, quick close. I said yes without hesitation. The decision a reckless kind of relief, like cauterizing a wound. Sarah came home at dusk, her key scraping in the lock like a warning. I was in the living room, surrounded by half-packed boxes, the air thick with dust and regret. She froze in the doorway, her eyes wide, taking in the chaos. James, what the hell is this? Her voice was sharp, but there was a tremor in it, a crack in her armor. She looked smaller somehow, her auburn hair loose around her shoulders, her coat still buttoned against the autumn chill. You're moving in with Derek, I said, my voice low, each word deliberate. So I sold the house. Her mouth opened, then closed, like a fish gasping for air. For a moment, I wanted her to deny it, to laugh and say it was a misunderstanding. But her silence was louder than any confession. James, she started, but I cut her off. Don't. I stood, towering over her, though I felt like I was crumbling. Don't lie to me. Not now. My hands shook, and I shoved them into my pockets to hide it. Her eyes glistened, but I couldn't tell if it was guilt or pity. Either way, it made me sick. She stepped closer, her boots scuffing the floor. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered, her voice breaking. Derek and we were just talking at first. Catching up. But then, she stopped, swallowing hard, and I felt the room tilt. like the ground was slipping out from under me. Then what? I snapped, my voice louder than I intended. You realized you still loved him? That I wasn't enough. The words burned, raw and jagged, tearing through the space between us. She flinched, and for a moment, I hated her. But I hated myself more, for believing in us, for thinking love was enough. It's not about you not being enough, she said, her voice barely audible. It's about me. I don't know who I am anymore, James. I thought I could be this person. The one who builds a life with you, who stays. But I'm lost. Her words hit like a slap, not because they were cruel but because they were honest. I saw it then, the weight she'd been carrying, the way her shoulders sagged, her eyes darting away from mine. She wasn't the villain I wanted her to be. She was just human, flawed and floundering, and that made it worse. I could have fought a monster. But how do you fight someone who's drowning? I turned away, staring at the fireplace where we'd spent countless nights curled up together. The embers long gone cold. When did it start? I asked, my voice hollow. I didn't want to know, but I needed to. Needed to understand how long I'd been blind. She hesitated, her breath hitching. 6 months ago, she admitted. After that work conference in Chicago. He was there, and we talked. It wasn't planned. It just happened. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of her coming home to me, smiling, kissing me, while her heart was somewhere else. I thought of all the moments I'd missed, the late nights she claimed were work, the weekends she spent with friends. I'd trusted her, loved her so fiercely I ignored the cracks. And now here we were, standing in the ruins. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, turning to face her. My voice cracked, betraying the anger I wanted to hold on to. Why let me think we were okay? Because I didn't want to hurt you, she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. I thought I could fix it, figure it out. But I couldn't. And then Derek offered me a way out, a place to stay, and I took it. A way out. The words landed like a punch, stealing my breath. I'd been her cage, hadn't I? Not her home, not her love. Just a weight she couldn't bear. I wanted to scream, to beg her to stay, to fight for us. But what was there to fight for? A love that was already gone? I grabbed a box, shoving books into it with more force than necessary. The house is sold, I said, not looking at her. You've got a week to get your stuff out. My voice was cold, final, but inside I was shattering. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, her sobs filling the silence like a requiem. That night, I slept in the guest room, the bed unfamiliar and too big without her. I dreamed of her laugh, her touch, the way she used to look at me like I was her whole world. When I woke, the ache was worse, a hollow thing that gnawed at my bones. I packed the rest of my things, leaving behind anything that reminded me of her. The photos, the throw blanket she loved, the life we'd planned. A week later, the house was empty, the sale finalized. I stood on the front porch one last time, the key heavy in my hand. The wind was quieter now, the air sharp with the promise of winter. I thought of Sarah, probably unpacking in Derek's apartment, starting over. And me? I was starting over too, but not with hope, just with the weight of a truth I couldn't unlearn. Love could break you, and trust, once shattered, left scars that never faded. I dropped the key in the mailbox and walked away, the crunch of gravel under my boots the only sound in the world. Somewhere, a new life was waiting. But all I could feel was the one I'd lost.